What's up, everybody? Matt Kajeski here, back again with the Odd Shopper channel, talking some college basketball player props via No House Advantage. Before we get started, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when this and all other content goes live. Listening on podcast, please leave a rating and review over there as well. And we are brought to you by No House Advantage. They're offering a first match deposit bonus up to $100 when you click the link in the video description below. And they have a bunch of ways you can play player props. They have the Verse the House tool, which is just making a lineup of player props where you can 21 extra entry fee if you're playing 5. And we'll talk about that a little bit more during the video. They also have Pick'em Contest, which is you versus other people in tournament style fashion, where they have prizes as much as $25,000 up top. And these often aren't filling, which gives you a better chance of actually taking down that prize. But let's dive into today's props. We're going to kick things off in the Oregon State-Arizona State game. Massive mismatch here. Oregon State, one of the worst teams in the Pac-12. They're 12-point underdogs. Arizona State, the favorite. The total is 130, so it should be a slower pace game. But right away, what sticks out here is a Frankie Collins prop over 10.5 points. On the back end, our projections actually have this at 12.1, giving us some slight value. Frankie Collins, he's played 32, 35, and 28 minutes in the last 3 games. Part of this because they've reduced the role of DJ Horn. He actually was suspended in their most recent game, probably because he was pissed that his role changed, and he'd only played 15 and 17 minutes in the 2 prior games. Regardless, suspension or not, he's playing less minutes, which means more for Collins. Collins has a 15% shot rate on the year, 15% in the last 3 games, and we should see little resistance from Oregon State, who ranks 137th in interior defense and just inside the top 100 in three-point defense. So plenty of scoring opportunities. Massive advantage here for Arizona State and Frankie Collins, who is underpriced given his minute increase. Second one we'll get to, we'll scroll down a bit here and hit Raleigh Worcester over 4.5 rebounds. This is one we have projected at 5.8. And you look at this on the season, Raleigh Worcester is actually averaging over this amount per season or per year. This year, he's at 5 point. That was a terrible way to say that. He's averaging 5.2 rebounds per game this year. And I don't really see any reason that changes. His minutes have actually gone up. You look on the year, he's averaging 31.2 minutes per game. Over the last couple games, he's played 36, 33, and 37 minutes. In this particular matchup, Utah is a 6.5 point favorite over Stanford in a game with a 133.5 total. And Utah has a massive rebounding advantage. They're 10th in rebounding. Stanford's 109th, which is a pretty big mismatch here. On the year, Worcester's rebound rate is 13%. Again, that's gotten him to 5.2 rebounds per game. In the last 3 games with that minute increase, jumped to 17.5%. So Raleigh Worcester firmly in play for the rebounding prop towards the over. And last one here, we're going to get a little greasy with a Jalen Clark under 7.5 rebounds. This is kind of a plug your nose, make the bet because of the math and hope it hits, because there's a lot suggesting Jalen Clark is a pretty good play here. However, they're 18-point favorites with a 136.5 total in the game. Massive blowout risk. We just saw Jalen Clark play 26 minutes in a 13-point win. So we know UCLA is a team that will take their starters out of games, play them reduced minutes in blowouts, which is very much a risk here. But Jalen Clark, I think he's also at risk of losing not a lot of minutes, but maybe 1 or 2 here and there because Amari Bailey's returned. So you look at the way this UCLA team is comprised, you essentially have Tiger Campbell's playing point guard. That's not going to change no matter what. Adam Bona's playing the 5. He'll mix in and out with Kenneth Nwaba and Mac Etienne, but mainly Adam Bona. He's 6'10", so there's not really a lot of wiggle room there. Jaime Jaquez is playing the 4. He's played there 85% of the time in the last 3 games, and Clark's actually been the other guy that's mixed in there. Clark's only 6'5", so he'd be a very undersized 4. All this to say, with Amari Bailey returning, Tiger Campbell's not leaving the floor. He plays point. Jaime Jaquez is playing the 4. He's not leaving. Adam Bona's playing the 5. He's not leaving. That means there's only David Singleton and Jalen Clark minutes to really siphon off here. They're not rotating deep into their bench. Singleton's 6'4". He primarily plays the 2. Jalen Clark is 6'5". He primarily plays the 3. Amari Bailey, the 6'5" freshman, rotates between both positions. So ideally, you probably have Clark on the floor more often than Singleton, but I think a few minutes do come away from Clark here still. Now, this is a terrifying fade because Clark does have an 18.5% rebound rate on the year. That's jumped as high as 24.5% in the 3 most recent games. But Amari Bailey's only played 1 game since returning from injury. His minutes likely tick up a little bit, and I think that largely comes at the expense of Singleton and Jalen Clark here moving forward. So we'll go under 7.5 rebounds. We have him projected at 6.2, which is a pretty solid projection here, given he's still projected over 30 minutes, and we also have the blowout risk. And on No House Advantage, there's a bunch of ways you can play these player props. Right now, we're doing the versus the house, and we have 3 of them. If we hit all 3, that pays out 5x. But if you were to add 2 more, you can make as much as 21 extra entry fee. But those are the 3 we'll talk about today. Let me know in the comment section what you think and if there's any others you really like. I'm on Twitter at Matt_Gajeski if you'd like to reach out. Hit the thumbs up button, subscribe on the way out. And until next time, good luck. We'll see you later.